The barista is the Italian word for the skilled person who prepares coffee, ultimately espresso, in a coffeehouse. What would you want your barista to be like? This is not a trick question. The more I think of it, the more I believe it, that the world of coffee making must be laying on the shoulders of the people who make our morning brews. They are responsible for creating beverages that we hope will make our day better because I presume they're very good at what they do. Now think back on all those times when you sat down at a local cafe to grab an afternoon pick-me-up or start your day right with a warm beverage, and how many times has it been just so? Well, if you ever find yourself wondering about these things too, well then don't ask, because there's no need. Just take the time to listen to these wise words from someone who knows firsthand from their own experience what makes great coffee. There are a lot of skills that baristas have to have, but there really is no age or appearance that you can pin it to. This job is done by men and women of all ages, and people from all over the world. The average age of a person who makes coffee and other hot drinks is around 40 years old. The exact definition of the term varies depending on where you are, but in general it's between 30 and 50 years of age. One thing that we are sure about is that entrepreneurs are constantly busy and often found behind bars, always ready to prepare several different kinds of coffee, expressly for you. And you probably guessed right. This is where the initial definition of the espresso coffee came from. A skilled barista has created thousands of different coffee beverages, and perhaps even invented something new. Before serving the perfect beverage, a barista may invent the recipe for that drink and then experiment with grinds and ratios until they have perfected their signature coffee. A good barista doles out coffee in near perfection by first tapping the measuring spoon with a precise amount of coffee inside and then placing the grounds into the brass filter using specific pressure and counts for each time. The other steps, tap, tamp and steam, are just as important because each action carries out to completion before the next one is done. Being a good barista is about knowing your limits and having someone who can help you when things are too much for you. For instance, tamping the coffee is about getting the grinds just the right amount of firmness. The finer the grind, the less important it is to tamp. As a barista, it's important to pay attention not only to the quality but have an appreciation for presentation. A skilled barista has the capability to perform several operations at the same time. The successful barista does not hesitate to interact with his or her guests. Anyone can make a decent cup of coffee with only their kitchen equipment. However, it takes real skill and technique to use a sophisticated espresso machine correctly. Coffee is more than just a beverage, it's more of an attitude. Have you ever visited the local coffee shop in your nearest area? As you sit down and you see an individual dressed in the most stylish attire, or better yet, perhaps even their own custom designs that have been printed on their newly purchased t-shirt. Yes, of course you have. You sip your coffee and take notice of how these men, women seem so happy to be there. Wouldn't it be nice to be that person behind the counter who has the power to make people's weekend that little bit brighter?